Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today I'm going to be giving you my review of Deadpool 2. Now if you want to keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as always in my videos this review may include spoilers, so you have now been warned. So Deadpool 2 is just as fun as the first movie, if not maybe even funner. It really doubles down on everything that made the first movie great. It is totally amplified in this sequel and it's really fun. Now it does have its issues, which I'll get onto in a little bit, but one of the best things, nay, the best thing about this movie by far is Ryan Reynolds' performance as Wade Wilson. I thought as I said, they double down on everything and they really do double down on Wade in this movie. He is just so over the top, so ridiculous at points, but so very funny. But one of my favourite things about Ryan Reynolds' performance in this movie and the Wade character as a whole is that they tried to ground him and almost humanise him at points, and I thought that Ryan Reynolds delivered those moments so well. There was a couple of scenes like this, but the scenes with Vanessa for me really stuck out. They were really poignant scenes, and I thought that Ryan Reynolds' facial expressions in those scenes were so childlike and so juvenile that they really added another layer to his performance, and not only to his performance but also another layer to the Wade Wilson character. And I just thought that the character progression, it was perfect. It was the best story arc we could have got for Wade, traveling from Deadpool 1 to Deadpool 2, and I thought that it was so well crafted and so well executed, and I loved everything about the Wade character and also Ryan Reynolds' performance in this movie. Another great performance is from my boy, the biggest and the hardest working villain in Hollywood right now is Josh Brolin. I thought he had a really great performance as Cable. I thought his performance as the really dead-eyed, dead-laced, straight-faced Cable really complemented the kind of fun and over-the-top goofiness of Ryan Reynolds' performance. But again, to echo what I said about Ryan Reynolds' performance, they also transferred that onto Cable as well. And yes, he was supposed to be this really cold-blooded mercenary, but we also got a character arc with him and a bit of character progression where he had these kind of really soft and gentle and again kind of moments of being innocent in this movie as well, and I thought that they just really encapsulated those two characters and played them off each other really well. And as I mentioned, this movie is fun. It is also very funny, and I could sit here for hours and reel off some of the quips and some of the jokes that are in this movie. There are far too many to handle. I think it would take about 3 or 4 viewings, if not more, to pick up on them. But again, that was another thing they did really well here, is that they elevated the jokes from the first movie. It still felt very fresh and it still felt very funny in a lot of places. Same with the action, that was really amped up in this movie. I think my favourite kind of bit of this film was in the first 10 minutes where we got like a full fight montage to Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. I thought that was a brilliant reintroduction to the Deadpool character, and it showed off all aspects of the character, and yeah, it really worked well. They as I said, they doubled down on everything, and for the most part a lot of this kind of over-the-topness really did work. But I do have some issues with this movie, and especially regarding how over-the-top this film is. Now, as I mentioned, this film is very funny, and when it needed to be funny, that's fine for me. I thought that worked really well. The real moments of humour in there were very well executed. But just they really missed the mark on a lot of the humour here. As I said, they tried to make this film a little bit more serious. There are a lot of kind of serious things that happen in this movie, and I felt like they just tried to wash over them with really bad not badly placed, like badly timed and kind of badly judged jokes as well, because where you could have had these real moments of characters connecting, they just used throwaway lines and silly little quips, and it didn't really work for me. And it did feel in a lot of places, I say, especially with that kind of more serious story that they were trying to tell in this movie, is that they took away a lot of the story by just throwing in backhanded jokes, and that is a real shame to see, because I thought one of the things that Deadpool, the original Deadpool, did really, really well was that it blended humour, action and the story all really well together, whereas in this movie they felt a little bit more kind of mishmashed and they felt a little bit more thrown together, which overall made this story feel just a little bit disjointed for me personally. And there's a few examples that I have of that, especially the film's second act. It felt very disjointed, like the whole X-Force storyline, as much as I was looking forward to seeing Peter, just felt, again, like it was thrust upon us. It felt really disjointed. I'm still not sure why the X-Force were thrown in there just to be killed off straight away. It just felt very odd to me. Now, another thing that was really disjointed about this movie is that we didn't really have a clear villain. Now, if that's done right, it can work really well. If you look at, for example, Black Panther, the way that they did that and had the moral switch between T'Challa and Killmonger earlier on this year, I thought that worked really well. And they tried to kind of do that in this movie as well. But again, the execution was a little off, because first of all, we're supposed to hate Cable, and it didn't really become clear until Cable's character switches to why he was even on Earth looking for this kid. Yes, it was alluded to and it was subtly referenced, but for most people it was just kind of like, oh, like for me it just felt like, oh, Cable's here, he's on a killing spree, wants to kill the kid. And for me, I didn't really care about that, because I didn't really care about the kid. I thought the kid was a really weak character and a really weak inclusion into this sequel. As I mentioned a little bit earlier on, where they could have had really good, poignant and kind of serious storylines and story progression, and with that character progression, and they used a lot of throwaway gags, they used a lot of those on the kid. One for me that really took me out of this movie and felt really weak was where him and Deadpool kind of had this heart-to-heart once we've just been introduced to the Juggernaut, and then the kid goes to walk off and he just kind of does that, and it just felt so dumb. And I know he's a kid and I know it's supposed to fit his character, but it didn't really work for me. There was also an incident right at the end of this movie as well, where he just kind of says, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. It was just so disjointed and felt a little bit stupid, but not in the fun way that Deadpool is supposed to be stupid. So yeah, to get back to my point, having that villain switch, as I say, we're supposed to hate Cable, then he turns to the good side, and then this kid who we're supposed to like is now supposed to be evil. It felt very rushed, and once again, sadly, it felt a little bit disjointed. But that being said, I still really enjoyed Deadpool 2. It's a whole lot of fun, and I do really suggest that you guys go out and see it. But if you guys have seen Deadpool 2, then let me know what you thought about it, as always, down in those comments below. And if you did enjoy this video and you want to keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the very next episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. Ta-ra!